What in the world is synodality anyway?
That is the $64,000 question, isn't it? So in my talk, I actually read what the Vatican website says it is, which makes no sense. I said it's like a Vaticanese. It's like a cross between a government manual and a New Age handbook. I mean, it just makes no sense. It's bureaucratic nonsense. But I defined what I think synodality is. And I said it's the effort to transform Catholicism into a religion in which vice and virtue are equal and are voted upon by its members. That's my essential definition of synodality, because that's what's happening is they're putting everything up for a vote, and not just for a vote of the bishops, who are the successors to the apostles, but the priests, the laity, hand-selected priests and laity, of course, like Father James Martin, people like that, but issues that have been settled for centuries, and resettled, in a sense, reiterated by John Paul II. And now it's like, nope, everything is up for grabs again. And that's essentially what synodality is. It's putting vice and virtue on equal footing and saying, let's vote on this. What do we think? Sixth commandment? Are we for it or are we against it? And that's essentially what it ends up being.
So what have you seen as we're entering the synod now, the subjects that you know are going to come up that are settled, but yet now open for debate?
I think the big ones we keep hearing about, of course, are women's ordination. A number of bishops have been kind of mentioning it again. And the stealth way they want to get in is through diaconate ordination, trying to, there's language in our tradition of deaconesses from the early church. So let's make that equivalent to men ordained deacons and try to have that. But we all know that's just the foot in the door to women's ordination into the priesthood and even to the episcopate. That's a big one, of course. The condoning homosexual acts, homosexual relationships, reaffirming the false teaching of Amoris Laetitia about communion for divorced and remarried. Those are some of the big ones. The whole idea of just people living together. I was just talking to somebody after my talk. She was saying how she has a daughter who's living with her boyfriend, and she was raised Catholic, but it's basically that's just what you do now. And the church is saying, well, there's elements of good in there. There's elements of holiness in that. And of course, that's contrary to what the church has always taught about that. And so I think those are probably, it's always the pelvic issues, as they say, always come to the fore, and women's ordination. And I think just one thing we have to remember, it's not always these specific issues, but synodality is a way of being church, to use their way of putting it. It's a way of just causing confusion and letting Catholics know, well, yeah, maybe the church is against this today, but we'll just have another synod in a few years and it'll be for it, so I might as well just get ahead of the curve. So it basically makes everything open for interpretation, for debate.